Hello everyone, I'm FARMERSIM and welcome back to the Dig Out of Debt series here on Gage, Kentucky. I do hope you're all doing very well and having a brilliant day. So, you're picking me up first thing in the morning, first day of May. I'm just getting rid of a few of the pallets that we've processed through our dairy and a couple of pallets of wool as well, just to get a couple more dollars in the bank. Sitting now just shy of 15 grand. We've got around about, I want to say about 7 grand on the back here. There we go. Let's get rid of all of them. 5. Oh, overstepped the mark there, didn't I? Why is that one not? Why is that not going there? It's a bit odd, isn't it? I've just missed the trigger, haven't I? There we go. 564, yeah. So what do we get there? It's about 6 grand, something like that. So where are we at? 21,000. Yeah, about 6 grand. Right, anyway, so yeah, hope you're all doing well. We're in May, so I did scurry through April once after the last episode, once we drilled the corn. Now check out the corn here in field 35. I love the row crop system mod, I really do. It just makes the fields look absolutely incredible, especially in when they're first germinated like this one is here. It just looks incredible, doesn't it? But we still need have a bit of work to do in this field. We need to get fertilizing, and I think fertilizing is the word of the day today, because as you'll see in the top right corner, a contract has come up that is absolutely 100% worth my time. It's in field 116, which I think is one of the biggest fields on the map. It's huge. It's just north of 60 acres. It's a whopper, here it is. But yeah, it's a fertilizing contract. But one of the things that I find brilliant about this map, as I know I've mentioned once or twice before, is the fact that it contains anhydrous ammonia, and anhydrous ammonia is cheap. I'm just going to pull over here actually very quickly and show you what I'm on about. Being careful not to drive onto our wheat. This is our field of wheat, looking relatively healthy, which is all good, but yeah, I want to just point out a couple of things. So first and foremost, we're going to go into our contracts menu. So as you can see, this is the one we're going for, field 116. It's massive. $90,416. One, you know, like I've mentioned a couple of times, I don't, well, without sounding arrogant or anything, I can't be arsed doing contracts that are just paying small amounts of money. I've got 125 grand's worth of debt, and I just want to, when the contracts come up, I just want to do the ones that pay big. Yes, they take much longer, but I feel that's, I've just always been that way in Farming Simulator. What can I say? We've got a couple ones here, 32 and a bit $1,000 for a hoe contract here. That might be worth a look to in the future, but obviously we've jumped into May. We've got a whole handful of new contracts to consider here. But this one, it was one of the first that cropped up when we had a look in the menu in May, and $90,400. Who can't turn that down? But this is the point that got me. Obviously it's saying here now, this is based on the base game. So cost of materials for the fertilizer that we'd need to do this field to complete the contract is, as near as makes no difference, $25,000. But that is not taking into consideration anhydrous ammonia, which is massively cheaper than the base game liquid fertilizers and the other stuff as well, solid fertilizers. So we can actually work this out pretty simply. So if we go to our field calculator mod, an incredible thing, this one, we go right down to field 116. Obviously, it's already highlighted because I've been working things out, but it says, I mean, just look at the difference here. So, liquid fertilizer, this says it's going to need about 20,600 litres of the stuff to get the contract done. But anhydrous ammonia, 10,900 litres. Now, anhydrous ammonia is $100 for 1,000 litres. So this is, all in all, let's just round that up to 11,000 litres. It's going to cost me $1,100 to do this job, not the $24,000 that it says it's going to take in the menu. I can't turn that down, can I? I really can't. And obviously, considering our own field as well, because the one job that I do have to crack on with on my own field, because everything else is sorted, our land is fine, is field 35, the field of corn, and that's going to take 9,300 litres. Now, it's actually quite close, considering the field is almost double the size, kind of, not quite, but we've got a 38 acre field here. The field 116 that I'm going to do the contract in is just north of 60 acres. But there's very little difference, isn't there, considering we're going to need 9,300 litres and this field 116 needs 11,000 litres. Still, I don't care. This is going to cost me to fertilise my own field. It's going to cost me $930, and to do the big field, the contract at 116, it's going to cost me $1,100. So it's an absolute goodness me, it's an absolute no-brainer, isn't it? Forgive me, I've got in the way of the traffic. I've given you more than enough room there, sausage. Come on. What can I say? What's going on here now? Oh, there we go. Why is my... I seem to be sitting quite low down. I've got the camera mod. There we go. I've got a camera position mod running on the game, which allows me to move the camera around when I'm in cab for cinematics and stuff. It sometimes does that when I'm fiddling with the mouse. But anyway, yeah, so you can see where I'm going with this, can't you? 125 grand's worth of debt, a 90 grand contract. That's going to leave us with about 35 grand's worth of debt left if we get it all done, and that can be swallowed up quite easily and sorted out quite simply with a few contracts. So that's great. Really, really cool. Really excited for that. So yeah, that's where we're going to crack on with. So I think what I'm going to do, like I say, we do need to fertilise my own corn, but I'm going to leave that till a bit later on in the day. The weather's good for most of the day. I think we've got a bit of rain forecast around about 8 or 9 o'clock this evening, I think. So we've got more than enough time to get all this work done. It's definitely worth doing it. It really is, because yes, it's going to be a fair bit of travelling back and to, because the one thing I have appreciated, and I didn't actually realise this till today when I was sitting down to make this recording, is yes, the map supports anhydrous ammonia, but I can't buy it in IBCs or tote form, whatever you want to call it, and buy it in pallets and load it onto my trailer and take a load of totes over to the field. Essentially, I can't do that. You can buy it in as a product and load it into your sprayers, but you can't yeah, you can't buy it in pallet form, which it is what it is. And you know, I'm not going to split hairs. Now, another thing, it was brought up a couple of times in previous episodes, and you know, when it comes to realism and all that kind of stuff, yes, I'm fully appreciative. Anhydrous is a gas. It wouldn't ordinarily be fed into a field using a sprayer like this. I fully appreciate that. There were some wonderful anhydrous ammonia mods for Farming Simulator 22. The ones I'm specifically referring to are the ones by Collins Custom Modding. And I don't believe that Collins Custom Modding has officially remade those mods for Farming Simulator 25. I think somebody has copied them, and they are available on certain mod scraper sites. But I'm against that. And obviously, the rules are what they are. I don't believe that the mods have been officially made and done using with Collins Custom Modding's permission. So the anhydrous ammonia mods that are out there, I believe, I may be wrong, there may be some genuine ones out there and I've not found them yet, and obviously, you know, I'm not saying anything negative about those, but at the minute, as we stand right now, as of today recording this video, I haven't found any proper anhydrous ammonia mods. But either way, even if I did, I haven't really got the money to borrow them to lease them anyway, have I? So I'm just going to have to make do with what I've got, and using the mechanics of the game. I can obviously use anhydrous ammonia. We've got 3,547 litres behind us and in front of us in the tanks. So we're going to make use of this now. Firstly, get rid of this, go and take on the contract. I hope, because I haven't done a fertilising contract using anhydrous yet, so I do hope that it's going to work. The fact that it's built into the map, I hope it should do it. So I'm, you know, getting into the field and starting to spray, I do hope that it's going to work. So we'll see that in a few moments' time. I'm going to spend a few minutes now travelling to the field and just enjoying this map, because I know where are we at now. Episode 13 on this series. I've done a couple of odd jobs around the map, haven't I? But mostly I've spent most of my time just dithering around my own land and my own farm, haven't I? And this is a spectacular map. And the performance of it as well, something that I've if any of you have watched my most recent video over on Whitcomb Park Farm, my Growing the Dream series, which I actually recorded the day before yesterday. The performance of the game was actually running quite rough for me at the time. It was a bit jerky. There was a lot of stuttering, and I have read a lot of comments from people over on Discord and in my YouTube comments as well, from folks who have experienced a similar thing. Lots of micro stutters, the game just not running very well at all. But I've jumped here I've not made any changes. There's not been any updates. I've not updated any computer system, any Windows or graphics drivers or anything like that. I've jumped into this map and it's running smooth as butter, and it's just gorgeous. It really is. So yeah, it's you'll have to forgive me. I don't know why I was ranting on about that then, but yeah, the game's running perfectly smooth, and it just reminds me of just how much of a beautiful map this is. Gagefield has done a wonderful job making this map. They really have. Still one of my favourite US maps. It's just got such an incredible feel to it. Little things like this, just houses dotted around the place, that just adds so much immersion to the map, giving you loads of options for areas that you can start off from. If you are new to this map, there's so many areas on the little starter areas on this map that you can start with. It's just brilliant, whether you want a big farm setup or something small. It's really, really nice. But anyway, I've done enough selling of the map over the last few months, haven't I? So anyway, let's make our way to field 116, and we'll see how, well, first and foremost, we'll get things unfolded and just have a quick check and see if the anhydrous does make an effect and allow us to progress through the contract. So I'll see you there in a minute. Right then, almost there. In fact, we are. Right here. There we are. Field 116. That's right in front of us. Now, there's going to be a heck of a lot of travelling here because I'm on a 4X map. I'm literally in one of the northernmost fields, and the fill-up point for anhydrous is as far south as you can get, pretty much. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of travelling, and this isn't the fastest of tractors, let's be honest. It tops out at 20 miles an hour. So there's going to be a lot of travelling, but thankfully, because of the fact that anhydrous is such an economical thing on this map, it's not going to be too frequent having to travel back and to. Essentially, we're going to have to do it, well, essentially, roughly 2 or 3 times, I think, roughly. But let's turn on. There we are, and just see if we can see if that contract at the top there starts to recognise that we are feeding anhydrous onto the field, and if we can just get it to 1%, I'll know it's working just fine. Perfect, exactly what I wanted to see there. We've hit 1%, so the contract is recognising anhydrous. I kind of knew it would, you know what I mean? It was just, I just had to make sure, because the last thing would be for me to bump into that tree for a start. But yeah, the last thing I would want is to take on the contract, say all that about sing the praises of anhydrous and how cheap it is, and then find out that it's not actually going to do the job, and it is going to cost me 25 grand to get it fertilised. But nope, there we are, all good. So we shall crack on with this. It actually seems to be going down a little bit quicker than what I was expected, but either way, regardless, it's still going to be considerably cheaper than the cost of normal standard liquid fertiliser, and plus we've already paid for this anhydrous that we've got in the tank, so that's I suppose another bonus in that respect. So just keep an eye on that edge so I don't bump into those trees. But yeah, let's crack on with this, and I'll see you in a wee while. A good couple of hours anyway, so stick some tunes on, throw it into a bit of a cinematic, and I'll pick you up in a bit. What a job this has been, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier on I would have said good morning because I think it was about 8:10 when we started this job. Check it out, it's almost 6 o'clock in the evening. Now, admittedly, about an hour or so of that has been... I actually forgot to press pause while I went to go and get my lunch. Oh, there we go. Contract finished. Right, well... Yeah. What a thing. Right, let's turn that off straight away. Now, yeah, let's just keep moving. Get that thing folded up. Yeah, so... Right, before we do anything, in fact, we're going to turn this one in. So, yeah, completed. Thank you very much indeed. Don't get me wrong. Totally... Whoa. There was a bit of lag there, wasn't it? Totally worth it, but on almost an entire day of spraying. Although the job itself, had I had an endless supply of anhydrous in the tank here, it would have taken just over 2 hours. All the time with that was spent driving back into the anhydrous tank, which is pretty much down on the southernmost edge of the map. Yeah, it was somewhere in the region, just as near as makes no difference. It was about 15 minutes of drive time between this field and the tank down there. So double that up because we've got to drive back again. It was almost half an hour there and back, and we had to fill up multiple times. Now, it hasn't quite worked out as I had expected. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. This isn't a complaint or anyway. I think this is just merely a byproduct of the fact that anhydrous ammonia on this map it's an added fertilizer option, of course, but I believe, I'm assuming now that the reasoning why we've used a whole lot more anhydrous than I expected is because because it's not our field, because we didn't have the field data. So far, my usage of anhydrous has been very, very economical. A little has gone an extremely long way. I'm sure if you've been watching previous episodes, you'll know that. You've heard me harping on about it, but you'd have heard me very briefly at the beginning of that cinematic montage there when I said, oh, it looks like it's going down a little bit quicker than I was expecting. Yeah. Much quicker, and the numbers are entirely different to what the field calculator was saying. So the field calculator said we were going to be using, it was about 10,900 litres, pretty much, so for numbers' sake, 11,000 litres. We've actually used in total somewhere in the region of about, what have we got left now, 2,700 litres, so somewhere in the region of about 57,000 litres. And I can only assume that is down to not having the soil data, because that's not our field, and obviously because it was so massive as well, we used a heck of a lot. So yeah, somewhere in the region of about 57,000 litres. It's cost me in total, I think I was really excited at the beginning, because I was like, oh, it's going to cost me $1,100. Yeah, it's not. It's cost me, where's my notes gone? $5,920 in total. I've had to fill up my diesel tank a couple of times, so I've had to put some more fuel in the diesel tank back at the farm. There's been a bit of backing into to there as well. So yeah, the whole day gone, but I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. Like I said, this isn't a complaint, it's merely just I'm glad it's over kind of thing. Yeah, the whole day done, but 90 grand in the bank, that's the focal point here, ladies and gentlemen. 90 grand in the bank, where we've got 125 grand of debt outstanding, and we've now got 104 in the bank. So before I do pay that off, or before I do pay a chunk of it off anyway, what I think I'm going to do, because I must admit, we've got to do our own cornfield, that has to be done. So I think what I'm going to do, just for my own knowledge sake, because nothing's changed in the game since the last episode and since the previous episodes when I've been working with anhydrous. There has been a patch, but I can't imagine at all that patch has had any effect on this. I believe the difference was just the fact that we didn't have the soil data, because if I overlay an image now very quickly from when I was doing that job, you'll see that the usage was, what was it about it was 1,000 and, I'm going off memory here, was it about 1,079 litres a hectare that it was spraying because it didn't have the soil data. I did have the automatic application rate active. It made no difference whatsoever if I deactivated that, whether the application rate, sorry, was on or not. It still chundered through the stuff. So it is what it is. But it's just interesting to know these differences, that's all, because there was me at the beginning getting all excited, thinking I was going to be doing a decent size contract and getting good money and not having it cost a lot of money. And it still hasn't at the end of the day. You know, it's only less than $6,000 as opposed to the $24,000 or $25,000 it said we were going to be paying for the normal liquid fertilizer. So it's still massively quids in, as it were. But yeah, just not quite as I expected it to be. So I want to get back to the farm very quickly. It's obviously 6 o'clock at night, so I'm not going to be doing anything now. We'll go to sleep for the night and pick up in the morning. Like I say, we still got my corn to spray, but I think what I might do, there is another contract that's in the available contract list for a hoeing contract, paying somewhere in the region just north of 30 grand. So I think it would be a nice idea, and again, for a little bit of variety in today's episode, we'll leave our cornfield for now, because we've got until tomorrow to do it. Well, we've got plenty of time to do it, to be honest. Now's just the right time, because the crop's germinated, but just to give myself a little bit of a break from this hard-worked tractor today, and also just from doing the same thing over and over again, we'll potentially lease a hoe, because I don't actually own one, and go and sort out this 30-odd grand contract. I think it's in field 9. In fact, let's just... no, I'm not going to take it on now, actually. I was going to take it on then, but I'll wait till the morning just to see if any other contracts have appeared that might be even better. But what I do want to do very quickly before we do call it a day for this in-game day, I want to just stick this very quickly into the cornfield and just turn it on and just see the difference in application rate when we're working in our own field where we have our own soil data. So still got a few minutes before we get home, so I'll pick you up in a second when we're there, and we'll just, like I say, just give it a quick test, just to make sure that I'm not going mad, basically, because all these times I've been using this anhydrous and this sprayer, and it's been really, really good, whereas it's just been, that field was just drinking it. So, yeah. So we'll see where we're up to with that. I'll see you back home in a minute. Not too long now, but yeah. See you there in a second. Well, there we go. Yeah, proof's in the pudding there, folks. As you can see, top left-hand corner, the application rate's going down at 162 litres a hectare on this field, because it does recognise and can tell the different soil types that we have on our field here. And that needs bringing up a bit, doesn't it? Where are we going? Yeah, let's lift that up a bit so we're not dragging it across the crop. That's better. But yeah, I just needed to test that out for myself, just to make sure I wasn't going crazy and that nothing significant had changed. But yeah, that's what I wanted to see. But yeah, the anhydrous there in the tank has been quite clearly counting down much slower than it was in that field there. That was peas, by the way, that we were doing for Noah. I was sorry, I had a momentary memory blank then. I couldn't remember what crop it was I was actually fertilising for the last 8 hours or whatever it was. Anyway, right, okay, that's job done anyway, all good. So we'll, like I say, I'm going to get back to the farm. We'll speed through the night and then pick up in the morning, see where we are there, and see if there's any other contracts going that are worth doing. And if there isn't any others, we will have a look at that hoeing contract. We'll jump in the 7810, give this thing a break for a few hours, and yeah, we'll leave the fertilising of our corn till definitely tomorrow anyway, but possibly till the next episode on this series anyway, just again, just for variety's sake, so I'm not doing the same thing over and over and over. But anyway, so a good day though. 104 grand in the bank now, so that's excellent. That's the important thing. Right, let's turn you off for the first time in the entire day. But yeah, awesome. Right, I'll see you in the morning. Morning, folks. Well, as you can hear, it doesn't sound like particularly friendly weather at the minute, but do you know what? The ground needs it, doesn't it? At the end of the day, water's good, but what are we on? 25 to 8. Let's have a quick peek in the contracts and see what we've got. Has anything extra come up? So this... Oh no, there's another fertilising one, 32.8. I'm not doing another fertilising contract, not today. There we are. This is the hoeing contract, $32,254 over in Field 9. Whereabouts is Field 9, actually? Oh, there we go, yeah. Far west side of the map, so it's... Well, this one isn't... I can't remember if I've been over this side of the map properly yet, so I'll have to wire that into the auto drive network, perhaps. But yeah, so I think, we'll take that one on, I think. That makes perfect sense. 32,254. Accept contract. Yep, there we go. And then what I want to do then is jump into our garage menu, and we're going to go to the weeders. So this is the one I want. Requires 160 horsepower. So yeah, the 7810 can manage that. So yeah, let's go for this. We're going to lease it. What's that going to cost? 1836. Okay, so it's probably going to cost us a little bit more than that over the next couple of hours, because I'm sure it'll be a good couple of hours worth of work, but 33 grand not to be sniffed at. How are the animals doing, in fact? Let's just have a quick peek before we go and bugger off and do some work. Yeah, they're all right for now, aren't they? Cows and sheep are fine. Let's just have a quick check in stock check, see where we're up to with what's been processed through the dairy overnight. Got $1,800 worth of butter, $2,200 worth of milk. Okay, goat milk. No, we're not making goat milk, sorry. Yeah, we're making milk and we're making butter. So, yeah, a couple of grand's worth, so that'll be worth looking at, possibly. But, as I say, we will get this job done, get another 30-odd grand in the bank, and then make a decision on exactly how much I do pay off the loan. As I keep saying, we've got 125 grand left. So if we can get... We might not be able to get every penny of that paid off, purely because we're going to have leasing costs to think about, and I don't want to completely empty the bank account, so... yeah, there's that to consider. Anyway, right, so I'm going to get myself sorted here. We're going to fill up with a bit of diesel from this, because there's very little in here. There we are. Get that filled up quickly. I shall take a quick trip. Well, I don't think there is such a thing as a quick trip on this map, but I'll take the trip down to the shop, pick up the hoe, and get over to Field 9. And I'll see you there in a moment. Okay, this is us, I think. This is Field 9, just on our left here, so let's get ourselves in here and get cracking. Now, I forgot to actually have a look at how wide this piece of kit is. Where are we? Very quickly. 12.4 metres, right, so this is a bit of a big lad, isn't it? Only really took that on board when I went to pick it up, and I thought, hang on a minute, that looks like it unfolds about 9 times. It's a pretty big thing, this. So yeah, hopefully, but it is a sizable field. It is. But anyway, right. Let's stop yapping, shall we, and get earning a few more dollars. Let's get these weeds gone. I think we're doing this for Noah again, aren't we? So yeah, he should be happy with us. But yeah, let's get these weeds gone. Earn a few more quid. And I'll see you in a while. Right then, folks, there we go. Job done, technically. Now, first and foremost, before we do anything, let's get this weeder returned. So, where are we? Dun, 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 dun. I need yield improvements, don't I? It's right there. Oh, no. Switch mode, forgive me. Right, there we go. Return. There we are. Excellent. Sorted. Now, it wasn't without its problems, that one, and I've got a funny feeling this reasoning was down to the row crop system, quite possibly. I got to 69% through the contract, and there was still loads and loads of weeds left in the field, and the weeder, the hoe, sorry, that we had leased there would not get rid of them. I've spent ages just driving around in circles trying to remove the weeds, but you might have seen from the time lapse that I made there, just as the hoe was progressing through the fields, it wasn't removing 100% of everything that it was rolling over. So there wasn't really much I could do about that, and I wasn't going to lose out on the contract money because of a game glitch or just an issue with the game, as it were. I know it's particular to this, perhaps, like I say, because of the row crop system and the way it deals with crops in the fields, and the coverage is different because they're in rows. I hadn't actually considered that when taking on the contract, but it doesn't matter. The main thing is I've sorted it, and I essentially just cancelled the contract. I couldn't do anything with it, but I added in the exact $32,254 that we would have earned from doing it, and that's now in the bank. So yeah, done. Just to wash my hands of that one. So yeah, there we go. Right, so the next step, pay off some debt. So all of it, in fact. I think we've got 132 grand in the bank, obviously. Now we've got 125 to pay off. That'll leave us with $7,600. We do have the only expense I can think of at the minute that we're going to have to outlay is a little bit more anhydrous ammonia when it comes to spraying our corn, but we should have more than enough money for that, and an absolute backup. At the minute, we've got $1,800 worth of butter sitting in pallet form ready to be sold, and we've got $2,300 worth of bottled milk as well. So just north of 4 grand there, and of course we do have an absolute emergency fund, I suppose, of 20 grand's worth of soybeans that I am holding on for a couple of months more to get the maximum price for in July, 24 grand. So it's all good. So yeah, sorry, back into the menu there, and let's get this done, shall we? So bum 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 bum, right the way down. Let's get rid of it all. Done. Ladies and gentlemen, we are debt-free. Dig out of debt in Kentucky has been dug out of debt. Dead chuffed with that, I really am. So now, moving forward, obviously we've got a little bit more to do on our fields, obviously spraying getting the anhydrous on the corn, and then that'll bring up the nitrogen levels of the corn, and then for our fields, that's pretty much it. But what I do want to do, I do want to make sure that when it comes to bringing this series to an end within the next couple of episodes, I want to make sure that the account is in green, as it were. We'll have a bit of money in the bank to fall back on, or if you know what I mean. I don't just want to call it done there. I want to make sure that there's a bit of money in the bank, bit of cash in the bank, without just doing the cheap way of doing it and just selling all the equipment. I don't want to do that. We'll probably scurry through the next few months. We'll sell the soybeans we've got there. We'll hopefully try and maybe get the corn harvested that we're currently just about to spray, get that turned into dry corn, and that, because that'll net a whole load of money in the bank, won't it? But yeah, dead happy with that. We are out of debt, folks. Mission accomplished, yeah, as it were. But for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call it here. So thank you very much for watching. I really do hope you have enjoyed this episode and found it a little bit of fun and a little bit interesting. As always, if you're new to the channel and you like my content, you like the way I'm doing things, please consider hitting that subscribe button and jumping on board and joining the channel. Please give the video a like as well if you can. It does do wonders. It helps the YouTube algorithm do its thing. And if you like the idea of supporting the channel, there are a number of ways you can do that. There is my Giants Partner promo code. If any of you are in the market for purchasing Farming Simulator 25 or any of its add-ons or DLCs. There's also coffee.com if you'd like to buy me a coffee. And on top of that, there is my G-Portal affiliate link if any of you are in the market for an online server to play with your mates. Any help and support here, ladies and gentlemen, as always, is massively appreciated. So, thanks again for your time, folks. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.